Have you ever wondered if the pain you're avoiding holds the key to unlocking your deepest spiritual potential? Pain is often seen as something to escape, but what if it's a guide leading us to a more awakened version of ourselves? In this video, we'll explore how pain can be the doorway to spiritual growth and transformation, showing us truths we often overlook in our pursuit of comfort. Let's discuss the journey of understanding how embracing pain can awaken something far greater within us. Pain is a complex, multifaceted experience, often dismissed as something purely negative or unpleasant. In our modern world, we are conditioned to avoid pain at all costs. We numb it, hide from it, or pretend it doesn't exist, hoping it will go away on its own. However, this avoidance only prolongs the discomfort. According to Teal Swan, pain is not something to run from, but something to understand. It holds a deeper purpose in our lives, one that goes far beyond the immediate sense of suffering. Pain, whether emotional, physical, or mental, often serves as a wake-up call. It is a signal that something within us requires attention. Emotional pain, for instance, may surface when we suppress feelings or avoid confronting unresolved issues. Physical pain, similarly, can be a reflection of deeper internal imbalances, emotional, psychological, or even spiritual. Rather than seeing these discomforts as isolated occurrences, it's important to understand them as interconnected messages. When we experience pain, it's like the universe or our inner selves trying to communicate something important. Teal Swan suggests that pain often arises from within our own psyche, often rooted in our fears, limiting beliefs, or past trauma. The key is not to reject it or distract ourselves, but to pay attention to it. Pain brings awareness to areas in our lives where we might be out of alignment, or where we may have neglected aspects of our emotional or spiritual needs. In this way, pain can be seen not as an obstacle to be avoided, but as a tool for personal growth. When we begin to perceive pain as a messenger rather than an enemy, our perspective shifts. It moves from something to endure or eliminate to something we can learn from. The message is clear. When we understand the true purpose of pain, we can start to see it as an essential part of our spiritual evolution. This realization opens the door to a deeper understanding of ourselves and our spiritual path. One of the most critical aspects of understanding pain, according to Teal Swan, is the relationship between pain and resistance. In most cases, we resist pain because it feels uncomfortable, undesirable, and disruptive. This resistance, however, often leads to more suffering. When we resist something, whether it's an emotion, a physical ailment, or an uncomfortable thought, we inadvertently prolong the experience, creating a vicious cycle of pain and avoidance. Resistance to pain manifests in various ways. We may suppress emotions, distract ourselves with external activities, or even deny that we're experiencing pain at all. This creates tension within us, as our natural instinct is to avoid what doesn't feel good. However, what we fail to realize is that resistance doesn't alleviate the pain. It merely amplifies it. Just like trying to hold back the tide, our efforts to suppress or avoid pain only build up more pressure, which ultimately bursts forth in more intense ways. The real solution, according to Swan, lies in surrendering to pain. This doesn't mean giving in to despair or wallowing in suffering, but rather allowing the pain to exist without judgment or resistance. When we stop fighting it, the pain no longer has the same power over us. Instead of continuing to resist, we can begin to learn from it and understand its deeper message. The pain may be telling us that something is out of alignment, that we need to heal something within ourselves, or that we must confront an issue we've been avoiding. Acceptance, as Swan suggests, is the key to ending the cycle of resistance. By accepting pain as a natural part of the human experience, we release the negative energy associated with it. This doesn't mean we must like the pain or seek it out, but rather that we acknowledge its presence and allow it to be. In doing so, we create space for healing and spiritual growth, freeing ourselves from the suffering that resistance causes. When we stop resisting, we start to see pain not as an enemy, but as an ally in our journey towards self-discovery and awakening. Healing is not about avoiding or eliminating pain, but about learning how to accept it and integrate it into our lives in a healthy way. Teal Swan teaches us that true healing begins when we stop resisting pain and start accepting it as a natural part of our existence. In our culture, we often view pain as something that should be eradicated, something that gets in the way of happiness. However, this view keeps us stuck in a cycle of avoidance and repression. Acceptance, on the other hand, opens the door to genuine healing. When we accept pain, we stop trying to control it. Instead of fighting it, we allow ourselves to feel it fully, understanding that our emotional and physical experiences are valid. This doesn't mean we have to like or condone the pain. It simply means we allow it to be present without judgment. Acceptance of pain allows us to release the emotional charge around it, letting go of the fear, shame, or frustration that often accompanies suffering. In the process of acceptance, we begin to heal not only the pain itself, but also the underlying causes of it. By giving ourselves permission to feel the full range of emotions that come with pain, whether it's sadness, grief, anger, or frustration, we unlock the power to transform these emotions. Acceptance allows us to make peace with our past, acknowledge our wounds, and heal from the inside out. It's through this acceptance that we move toward spiritual growth, as it enables us to break free from old patterns of resistance and avoidance. Furthermore, when we accept pain, we begin to shift our perspective on life itself. We stop seeing life as something to be fixed or perfected, and instead begin to see it as a process of constant change and growth. Every experience, including pain, is a chance for evolution. The more we accept the lessons that pain brings, the more we grow spiritually. Through this acceptance, we unlock a deeper sense of self-awareness, emotional freedom, and inner peace, ultimately paving the way for profound spiritual awakening. Pain has the remarkable ability to act as a mirror, reflecting back to us the aspects of ourselves that we may not be fully aware of. Often the pain we experience is not simply the result of external circumstances, but is deeply tied to our inner world, our beliefs, fears, and unresolved emotions. When we examine the pain we feel, we might find that it is a reflection of an inner conflict or an unresolved issue that we've been avoiding. Teal Swan suggests that our emotional pain often arises from subconscious beliefs, fears, or past trauma. These hidden aspects of ourselves manifest as physical or emotional pain, serving as a signal that something within us needs attention. For example, chronic pain in the body can sometimes be traced back to repressed emotions or stress, while emotional pain might stem from unprocessed grief or unresolved childhood experiences. The pain is not random. It's a manifestation of our inner state, and it's often trying to tell us something important. Rather than viewing pain as a nuisance or a punishment, we can start to see it as an invitation to explore our inner world. When we are willing to look deeply at the sources of our pain, we often uncover unresolved issues that have been hidden away. It's not always easy to confront these uncomfortable truths, but doing so allows us to heal and grow. This process of self-reflection is essential for spiritual awakening. When we see pain as a mirror, we take responsibility for our inner world and begin to actively work on healing ourselves. The mirror effect of pain also invites us to examine our relationship with ourselves. Often, the way we treat our pain reflects how we treat ourselves. Do we dismiss our emotions? Do we avoid facing difficult truths? Or do we acknowledge and validate our feelings, allowing them the space to exist and be processed? In recognizing pain as a reflection of our inner state, we gain valuable insights into how we view ourselves and our place in the world. This awareness is the first step toward healing and transformation. Self-awareness plays a crucial role in how we navigate and respond to pain. When we become more attuned to our thoughts, feelings, and bodily sensations, we gain a greater understanding of the pain we are experiencing. Rather than reacting impulsively or emotionally to pain, we can approach it with mindfulness and clarity. This heightened sense of self-awareness allows us to respond to pain in a way that promotes healing rather than exacerbating suffering. Teal Swan teaches that self-awareness is not about avoiding or controlling pain, but about observing it without judgment. When we develop the ability to observe our pain without getting caught up in it, we create space between ourselves and the discomfort. This space allows us to respond thoughtfully, rather than impulsively. It's through this awareness that we can uncover the underlying causes of our pain, whether they are rooted in past trauma, limiting beliefs, or emotional wounds. With this understanding, we can begin to address the root causes, rather than simply managing the symptoms. Mindfulness practices are particularly effective in cultivating self-awareness. By bringing our attention to the present moment and tuning into our bodies and emotions, we can gain insight into the nature of our pain. This practice allows us to step outside of our usual patterns of reaction and approach pain with a sense of curiosity and compassion. Rather than seeing pain as something to eliminate, we can view it as a signal, a message that can guide us toward deeper healing and self-understanding. Through self-awareness, we also learn how to release the emotional charge around pain. Rather than identifying with the pain or allowing it to define us, we can recognize that pain is simply a transient experience. This shift in perspective empowers us to detach from the pain and approach it with greater equanimity. As we deepen our self-awareness, we not only learn to manage pain more effectively, but also open ourselves to the possibility of healing and transformation. Through this process, we awaken to a more conscious and compassionate way of being. Pain is not something that happens to us on the periphery of our spiritual journey. It is a core component of it. As Teal Swan explains, pain can be an integral part of our path towards spiritual awakening. Rather than avoiding pain, we can learn to integrate it into our spiritual practices. This integration allows us to grow more deeply connected to our true selves and align with our higher purpose. The process of integrating pain involves shifting our relationship with it. Instead of seeing pain as something to fear or resist, we can begin to see it as an essential part of our human experience. This requires a shift in perspective. Pain is not an enemy to be defeated, but a teacher to be understood. By welcoming pain as a tool for growth, we open ourselves to a deeper spiritual awakening. One way to integrate pain into our spiritual journey is by using it as a catalyst for introspection. Pain often brings us face to face with our deepest fears, wounds, and desires. These are the areas of our lives that need healing and attention. By acknowledging pain as a guide, we can use it to direct us toward the places within ourselves that require growth and healing. Through this process, we gain clarity about our values, our beliefs, and our true purpose. Integrating pain also involves surrendering to the present moment. When we stop trying to control our pain or rush past it, we open ourselves to a deeper level of spiritual awareness. Pain becomes a doorway to greater mindfulness and presence, allowing us to experience life more fully and authentically. In this way, pain is not something that holds us back, but something that propels us forward on our spiritual journey. Pain is not something to fear or avoid, but a crucial aspect of our spiritual awakening. When we learn to accept pain rather than resist it, we unlock the potential for deep healing and transformation. Pain teaches us about ourselves, reflects our inner struggles, and guides us toward a greater understanding of who we are. By embracing pain and using it as a tool for growth, we awaken to a new level of consciousness and become more aligned with our true purpose. The key is not to eliminate pain, but to integrate it into our experience in a way that facilitates healing and spiritual growth.